sir. Welcome to Under the Hood Sports. I'm your host with the most, Johnny Hill. Hey, man, say, man, and if you don't know me, you should know me. Hey, I got a guy who been on the show before, and he's just an overall great guy, man. He's a boxer, rising boxer, matter of fact. He just had his first professional fight. He acts, he does it all. He from Nevada. Hey, Akeem the Dream Champ. What up, Akeem?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
Hey, man. First of all, thank you for coming on again. Of course, every time we have an opportunity to chop it up, I'm always grateful. And it's just great to talk to you, man, because I love seeing where you going, man. You're a great person, and you're having a great young career because you just had your first professional fight. So let's just dive deep into it, Akeem, right? Akeem, first tell the audience, because they might not understand, because a lot of time they see boxers, right? They see them on the big platform stages, but they don't know the journey, right, that it takes to get there. So what would you say, Akeem, your time at the amateurs? How was your time in the amateurs?
My time in the amateurs was, something that was so magical. I mean, you got to travel all over the place. You got to stay in a bunch of hotels. You got to meet a bunch of different boxers, and it was just a real great experience, especially being like a child growing up in it since 7 and 8. Um, you kind of miss it. You miss it sometimes, but with the maturing and the leveling up, you gotta let old things pass. And amateurs, it really taught you raw skill, the basis of skill, and to hit and not get hit. That's the basis of boxing. And then coming to the pros, it's now just applying patience and applying power basically to the whole thing and just stretching out the skill format of the amateurs and the pros. So amateur boxing really it did a number. It really did a number.
Okay, for people who might not know you, let's talk about your journey, man, because a lot of people might understand your dad taught you the game of boxing, but not just you, taught your brother. Growing up, man, how was it learning the game of boxing, man, as a youngin? Like you said, like a youngin, 6, 7. How was it, man?
Our dad was extremely tough on us to the extreme. I think he was more tough on us than any other boxer, especially a child boxer of the time. I always thought that way. Like I never seen nobody else's dad treat them or yell at them or anything like that, like how our dad did. And it wasn't bad. It made us beasts because most of those kids now are not boxing. We're still here boxing. And now you have teenagers who are my age, who are 19, people who are 16, 17, 18. Now they're trying to get into boxing. You know what I'm saying? But we've been into boxing. You know what I'm saying? So we're ahead of the game. Everybody's trying to get into boxing because of Jake Paul and everybody. And while they were out in school, drinking milkshakes at home, we were training till like 12 at night, 1 in the morning at 10, 11, 12. You know what I'm saying? 8 years old. So we were ahead of the game. And it was, you know, shoot, I always compare it to like how Michael Jackson had it, how him and the whole Jackson family had it with Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
Constant hard work, constant, like an adult, constant, constant, constant. Um, there really was no room for rest. I mean, but that's what makes diamonds. Pressure makes diamonds. So, being trained with my brother and my dad, I mean, it made us a lot closer, and that's what counts.
Let's talk about it, man, because that's amazing. Um, what because we talked a little bit about the amateurs, because I feel like you had over like 180, 190 fights, man. And of course, we all know you have way more victories than you have losses. I only think out of all them fights, you only had like 8. You know what I'm saying? And what would you say your highest point of the amateurs and also your lowest point?
Ooh, my highest point, There's main tournaments that was my high point. There was ringside, there was Desert Showdown, there was Junior Olympics. Those are great highs. But I think my last high moment in boxing was probably my last fight when I got my spot on the Junior Olympic team in 2019. Yeah, reminder guys, my last fight was in 2019, my last amateur fight, right? So I took like a long layoff, not a layoff, but I took a long period of time to be able to adapt to the pros. And it was just something that was in God's plan and it just worked out and had my first pro fight. But in the amateurs, yeah, my last fight was my high moment. I trained so hard for that. I had to lose 20 pounds. I was weighing 120 and I dropped down to 101. I was so drained, so tired, and everything just it worked out. Everything was worth it. And I felt so happy, so proud, and going to the United States Olympic team training center and stuff, seeing all the swimmers, volleyball players, basketball players. It was a hell of an experience. But then with the highs always comes the great lows. And that's how you get to the great highs, is getting through the great lows, because the great lows will probably come first. So I think the greatest low I had was probably one year when I was going to the Junior Olympics in 2016. I was so hungry for it. I wanted to win it so bad. I was maybe 13, 14. And we went to states and I won states. We went to regionals and I'm expecting to go to nationals because I just want to get the gold medal. And we go to regionals and I lose in the regionals. And I was so disappointed. I was so discouraged and I couldn't believe it. I that was the first time I thought, wow, is boxing for me? Have I been wasting my time all this time? And man, I was so depressed. I was so mad. But then that's when the idea of, it will be what it will be. You just got to keep going. It's not what happened right now. It's always the next move. It's always the next move, no matter what happens, good or bad. It's always the next move. So I just kept going, trusted in God, and somehow, some way, I stayed into boxing.
Okay, let's talk about this, man. Let's dive deeper. Mentally, like, what did you have to do mentally to get out of that point in time? Because everything that you felt like you worked for your whole life since you were six, at one moment in time, you felt like you waste your time, man. Like, how did you get out of that stage mentally?
Thanks. Getting out of that stage mentally. Um, you start to realize the other joys in life, that boxing and your career is not your whole life. There's a lot more to life. Um, when you realize that, some things you're just not going to have in your control. And when things happen, you can't go back in time. You can't focus so much on what could have been. What if I would have won? What if I would have went to the nationals and won? I mean, what would happen if I did? If I went to the nationals and won, what would happen? Being in the amateurs, you wouldn't have gotten any money. Nothing would have changed. I mean, you would have got a title. That's awesome. But I just learned not to take it so serious, especially with the amateurs. And it just kind of bled over with everything in life. It's not so much what could have or what would have, it's what happened, because that's what was supposed to happen. What could have and what would have is not going to happen. So it don't matter. That's not what was supposed to happen if it didn't happen, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I really fell into the mentality of it is what it is. And I found the joys of life. I found the simple joys, the simple happiness. I got to eat and drink. You know what I'm saying? While I'm stressing over not making it to the nationals, you know what I'm saying? There's a kid in, Iraq somewhere who's starving because they can't make it to any stores that are by them. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here crying about not being able to compete. And there are kids who wish they can move to America to compete for boxing. So I was just like, it's not even, just do the next tournament or just keep training. We'll see how things go. And I just trust in God. It was really just a leap of faith. It really is.
Okay, Akeem, that's amazing. For the audience who don't know, right? Who do Akeem look at for his style? Because we all see the different type of styles, you know what I'm saying? So what style of boxing will you say you most proclaim? Or in fighting in general, because we did have this conversation before. What styles do you look at, man?
Okay, so my style, the main person I look at is my dad,
Mm.
because this style is, you don't really find it in history being there at all. You might find different variations of it. It's a different version of the Philly shell. It's not like Floyd's Philly shell. It's not like Georgie Benton's Philly shell. It's a different variation of it. So I really look at my dad. My dad taught us the entire style. Now, great boxes that I look at and I take from, and you know what I'm saying? Uh, Definitely Sugar Ray Robinson. Definitely look at a little bit of Georgie Benton. I definitely look at Floyd because his timings going in and out with his footwork and being able to counter was amazing. He was immaculate. Um, but I don't only look at boxers. I look at MMA fighters. I look at all types of warriors. So, um, basically timing fighters. Conor McGregor. Um,
Yeah,
uh, it's so many different fighters that I can name. John Jones.
yeah,
You look at how people throw punches, how they put people to sleep. There's a science to it. And yeah, I look at MMA fighters, WWE fighters,
yeah.
shoot, judo, wrestling, all of that, like the complete package. If you're gonna be a warrior, you got to be a warrior. So that's what I do. Yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson, Pernell Whitaker, um, Muhammad Ali, Floyd, Canelo Alvarez. I love Canelo Alvarez. Um, and he won, by the way. I was right. Everybody who thought Charlo was gonna win, you were
Yeah.
wrong. It's all right. It's okay. I know what I'm talking about.
Just accept it.
Um, but yeah, yeah, I love Canelo. Who else? Who else? Bernard Hopkins. I mean, there's so many great fighters. I like to take little bits and pieces from everybody and combine it, and it'll become its own style. So, I would call my style something that's really adaptable. I form, I flow. You know what I'm saying? The same way I would fight this guy, or the way I would fight this guy, is not the same way I would fight someone else, because styles make fights. And a Mike Tyson style might be a problem to you know, to a Joe Frazier, but it won't be a problem to a Buster Douglas. You know what I'm saying? There's different styles that make different fights. So that's how I try to adapt to everything.
For sure. Hey, let's dive deeper into this, Akeem. Because one thing I would like to say, because I love the game of boxing as well. But I did see one thing you were talking about, but that boy Bud Crawford, man, when he beat Errol Spence. Okay, quick background. I was for Bud. I was for Bud, man, winning. Hey, I really wanted him to win, but I just didn't think he was gonna do what he did, Akeem, if I want to be real. I didn't know he was gonna go crazy like how he did, man. Like it was a straight massacre. So, what was your take on Bud Crawford winning, man?
First of all, everybody at my gym at Top Rank, they all were saying, all the coaches, "Oh, Arrow's gonna win. Arrow's gonna win. He's gonna keep coming. Terrence Crawford can't take a punch." I was so confused. I was like, "What are you talking about?" Everybody just forgot that Errol Spence totally got stunned by Ugas and dropped his mouthpiece out and quit for like 5 seconds. He quit and was sitting there looking stunned and dazed. I was like, "Bro, it ain't gonna happen with Crawford." That was my first point. My second point is I never knew that Errol Spence started boxing in his teens. I said, "Are you serious? He started boxing in his teens?" People sleep on the fact that when someone does this since they were a child, when it's embedded in their brain, it's different from any high schooler, any person that's past the age of 12 coming into boxing. I can say that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that Terrence Crawford was doing it since he was 6 and 7 is going to tell you that he has some real raw talent. This isn't
True,
just
true.
everything form. You can just see it. And so I never agreed with anybody who said Errol Spence was just going to dog him. I knew Terrence Crawford was going to win because of that fact alone. I didn't know he was going to do it like that, but I mean, I expected it. I didn't know Errol Spence was going to lay down like that and be so outclassed. But hey, I just saw it. I saw Errol Spence is not a person who has a lot of skill. It wasn't a big skill set. It was just an athlete from high school who got in shape and was able to put his dukes up and keep coming with the jab and keep
Mm-hmm.
trying it. Once you meet a person who has incredible timing and incredible defense like Terrence Crawford,
Is out.
you get exposed. You get exposed.
And I
I'm
love,
telling
I love. like Terrence, he quickly because I feel like, in our opinion, I feel like Floyd's the GOAT. But that's also, that's our generation as well. So it's natural to say like certain athletes a GOAT. But when I say Terrence Crawford defense is crazy. Like it is Akeem, it's just crazy to me. His defense, he got great footwork too, bro. And it's like, dang, bro, he's really a dog, a legit. And I don't think anybody want to see him. I remember, I don't know if you've been watching this. You probably have, but what one of the twins were talking about? They wanted to face Spence, and I think we all know. I don't think they want that. I don't think they want that, man. Not right now.
No,
Man. Nah, not right
no, no. It was the Charlo who just lost to Canelo too. He was like, "I'll fight Crawford at my weight, 154." Crawford
Yes,
is going to knock you out.
yes, bro.
Crawford is
You
gonna,
know exactly what I'm talking about.
just
And
because he didn't get knocked out by Canelo does not mean he won't get knocked out against Crawford. Because with Crawford, he might actually swing and get flipped,
come on.
clipped.
And it can get ugly real quick messing with Bud, man. Real quick. But
Pause put on you for real.
nah, for real. Okay, man. Let's try to see. Nah, for real. He'll put the palms on you, boy. Hey.
Bud, I love Bud.
Yes, but like, but he quickly because once Floyd retired, man, I was looking for a guy, man. I like, man, what guy can I really like watch? And I love him and I love Tank. I love them too. I love
Yeah, because they both have great accuracy. They really do.
Yes, bro. But bro, I love Tank and I love. Who do you love out of them two more? Who do you prefer? Or who would you watch more? Like take things from the game between Terrence and Tank.
Terrence, because Terrence has a more versatile style. Tank stays southpaw. Tank has his own unique style that he sticks to, and that style alone, he adapts himself to everything that's happening. Terrence Crawford, I mean, he'll switch orthodox. If he can beat you orthodox, he'll stay that way all night. If he can be southpaw and keep hitting you over your jab, I mean, I just take from Terrence more. I think he has more flexibility, more flexibility.
Okay, man. Let's talk about this man. There, it's kind of different, bro. We talked about the growing up as a young boy and doing this thing, man, and starting at your teens, right? You'll see a
Mhm.
lot of great fighters who are naturally gifted, like Deontay Wilder. I think he started when he was in his 20s or something. But like,
Yeah,
yeah, but like he's just naturally gifted. And then you see when he faced someone like Tyson Fury, man, who've been doing this for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And you see what happens when they come to blows. How big of advantage do right? Do you feel that like people like you and Tyson and Tank, everybody who started when they were young boys, like how much and Floyd, of course, how much advantage do you think they have over the other guys, man?
it's simple like this, bro. Power is one thing, but when you got a guy who knows how to box, like with the fundamentals of boxing from a young age, we box around power. We box around power all day because we have literal fundamental tricks that will touch you. You know what I'm saying? We can touch you and not get hit. We're taught that. That's the first thing we learn, and we have a natural timing.
Mm,
And you know what I'm saying? So when all those things are put together, a guy who just comes into fighting, you're closer to a street fighter. You know what I'm saying? And of course, street fighters are powerful and they can knock you out. Um, but when you're talking to a person who actually has skill from a young age, getting in shape is super easy. Getting in shape is the last thing we're worried about. You don't have the skill. Any man can get in shape, 100%. Any man can get in shape. But do you have the skill set? And that's what people from a young age who started boxing, all of them have a skill set. It's a harder fight when you have two young fighters that came up and they meet and clash. Like if Terrence Crawford were to fight Tank, because Tank said he would knock Terrence Crawford out in round 6.
really?
Um, yeah. And I mean, shoot, if he believes it, I mean, I guess so. that would be a more interesting fight because now it's getting technical. There's a technicality that comes with young fighters, period. So there's a big difference. Anybody can see that. I mean, I'm not saying you can't box if you start late in your teens or in the early 20s, but I mean, it's going to be a different animal when you're boxing a kid like me who's been doing it his whole life. I look at boxing totally differently. I really do. And that's the biggest point I would think.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense, man. What young fighter do you also look up who is around your age group who is also doing their thing out there, man?
Oh, of course, Kermel Moton. He just got his pro debut, and that blew up. I'm so proud of him. For real, for real. We grew up doing it, so it's so amazing. There's Kermel. There's Angel and Chavez Barrientos from Pound for Pound. There's hell, man. There's just so many of them that are doing their thing. Kaipo Gallegos. I mean, who else? Who else? Who else? Like I can just name so many of them. You know what I'm saying? But those are just the few that I would say are really standing out. Who else?
Mm.
There's Xander with Top Rank. Um, man, there's just so many. There really is so many.
Man, Akeem, we hear about Top Rank, man, right? We all hear about it, but how is it, man, like working and training there, man?
Working and training there for me is fun because I make it fun. Anywhere I go and train at, I make it fun. Like it can be totally about business. I get it. And everybody's a boxer, but I like bringing my personality to the gym. I like bringing comedy. I like bringing a light mood, and it just makes everything way more fun. So it's because I'm the entertaining one, right? So when I go there, it's going to be one of two reactions. It's either people are going to act weird and act like they're too classy to have fun in the gym, or they're going to be chill and they're going to be like, oh shoot, and join in. And at Top Rank, I've found most people to actually join in and not act all uppity and not act all stuck up in a way. So I mean, yeah, it's hella fun, and you meet a lot of people there. There's a lot of people who come through that gym from boxing and from outside of boxing, legends, actors, boxers, music artists. Like it's fun. It's fun.
You got a history with Floyd Mayweather. I, I think your father, right? So go ahead, tell the audience a little bit about that history, man.
So before I started boxing, my older brother was boxing, and him and my dad they started at the Mayweathers, and they were getting trained with Roger, and Roger was training my brother, and my dad would be there watching, and they hung around with the Mayweather family all the time. You know what I mean? And I mean, since then, it's always been like we've always been known to like the Mayweathers, and I maybe trained there maybe a few years ago. You know what I'm saying? Met Floyd a few times, seen him at the skating rink and stuff like that. But no, yeah, there's a history with us and the Mayweathers dating back maybe 15 years ago. Um, yeah, so they started training with Roger, and I used to play with Roger's son all the time, Lakai. I used to play with him all the time. And I mean, yeah, we have history with the Mayweathers. We'll probably be going back there to spar and stuff with everybody. But yeah, it's nothing too big. It's nothing too big. You know what I mean? Nothing
Sure.
too big.
Akeem, let's transition. We talked about your first pro fight. Let's dive deeper, man. Right? Okay. For context, bro. This man Akeem brought a chair to to the weigh-in, man. So go ahead, Akeem, for context purpose. Why the chair, man?
Okay. While the fight was happening that week, it just so happened that a viral video was going around. I think it was like the Alabama brawl,
Yeah, well,
and and it was basically a group of white people. They were beating up on a black guy, and random black folks from another boat hopped in the water, jumped in, and defended the black guy who was getting jumped by the white people. And it just so happened on that same pier, they sold slaves and they auctioned them off, and it was really ironic, and it was such a coincidence. And I was thinking to myself, it would be awesome if I could come down to the ring with a chair, because I'm sure every black person that's going to be in the auditorium is going to realize and know, and it's going to be funny. And so when we went down to St. Louis, which, by the way, is one of the most dangerous cities in America,
Yeah,
everyone there was African American. You didn't really see any white boys or anything like that, any other race. And I was like, dang, if the only thing that would make this perfect is if it happened to be a white guy I was fighting. And then sure enough, it was a white guy I was fighting, and I couldn't believe it. I took it as a sign from God that, it was perfect. And that's what I did. So the weigh-in was happening. People were arguing before we weighed in. So I was just like, this is totally perfect. I got to do it. So I grabbed the chair. They called me up, and I walked up with the chair. And even my opponent was laughing because he got it. He understood. If you knew, you knew. That's how I explained it. And everybody was laughing. And so I came with the chair to the ring, and it was just a reference to that. And it was mainly comedy. It was supposed to be funny. It wasn't really serious or like an attack on anybody. It was just comedy. It was just funny.
for sure, for sure. But let's talk about what happened in the fight. Ooh, Akeem, Akeem, Akeem,
No, no.
Akeem.
Yeah, so the first round, I was, testing him out, playing around, let him survive. I could tell in the first 5 seconds, I could have ended it. I could have ended it at any moment. So then the second round came, and I was like, yeah, that's enough. Let me go ahead and put him down and sit down on the punches. I'm sitting there walking him down, and I lean down to the side, and he flinches already. So I wait for him to flinch, and it's like an offbeat. It's a timing. I wait for him to flinch, and when he loosens up, that's when I threw the punch. Bam! It hit here and slid up too. It was, and he took the knee. I was like, damn, damn. I wanted him to last, bro, but it's whatever.
Hey, finish him.
Finish for real, for real, for real, for real. Oh, by the way,
Finish
yeah,
him.
my next fight might be in December.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, we locking in on that. We gotta do
Oh
another
yeah,
interview for that, man. Got to.
oh yeah, definitely, 100%.
Hey, Akeem, let's dive deeper. Okay, you're very faith driven. We talked about it a lot, man. Akeem, how much do God really push you in, not just in your career, but in your life, man? Because it's a walk with God, right?
Oh yeah,
So
oh yeah.
so just tell the audience about that, because that's something I know you're really passionate about. You talk about it. How much do, because look at your life, man. You living a blessed life. Not only do you box, you act as well, and you're getting blessings from that. So tell the audience about that, bro.
Definitely. Huh. I think people get it twisted most of the times. I think a lot of people are selfish, and they gotta come out of that bad habit, right? God's blessing, I promise you, it's not gonna be money. That's not the main way God blesses you. Money, money, money. You know what I'm saying? I realized that, even with me being broke or poor or anything like that, at any moment God can change that. There are people who win lottery tickets for $500 million out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Just like that, it can happen. Just like that, you can meet a millionaire or a billionaire that will give you money. You know what I'm saying? It's very possible to make money. Money is not the big problem. Whenever I would go on social media, I would always see the same old prayers and the same old blessings. Oh, he's gonna bless you with prosperity, with a lot of money, a new job, blah blah blah. That's not what life is about. The most important things of life are the things that are unseen. The things that are unseen, love. The most important energy or the biggest discovery in science was something unseen, gravity. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
the unseen things that matter.
Mhm.
So, um, going in with fighting and sports and life, period, I kind of just put all my faith in God. If it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? If I'm the guy who's supposed to, be famous, have influence, and become an icon and be there for God, then I am going to be that. I don't have to worry about if I'm not going to be successful. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, for
If
sure.
it's like this, if God had it planned for me to be unsuccessful, I'd rather be unsuccessful for God than be successful for the enemy, for evil. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be a part of God's plan as an unsuccessful person than to be a successful person and it's not even God's plan. That's not worth it to me. It's not worth it. Um, I mean, I pray a lot. I pray a lot every day. You know what I mean? And I just give all my faith, give all my concentration to God. I put God first before anything. If you seek God first, everything you ask, everything else will fall in line. That's a Bible verse. You know what I'm saying? Everything else will fall in line because the true glory, the big glory is gonna happen after death. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what you do in this lifetime. It's after death that's really gonna matter. That's what's really gonna count. So after I started accepting that, I started blowing up on social media. I started getting hundreds of thousands of views. I started getting way more followers. You know what I mean? I started having important people notice at top rank. You know what I'm saying? They didn't pay attention to me at first. Now they're starting to pay attention a little bit more. I started getting connections with people in the film industry when I wanted to become an actor. Out of nowhere, my coach tells me about some casting director he knows, and if anyone's interested, we can go. All the other boxers were like, no, I'm just gonna train. Me, I was like, sign me up. Where's the pen? What are we doing? And just did my first real speaking role in a film around a lot of people. Black China was there. I had Tiny's daughter was there. Like I've seen a few people there. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I'm all set with these people. But you start seeing blessings. You start seeing blessings because it's all a part of God's plan. If you're chosen by God, it don't matter what you do. God has unconditional love for you. And unconditional love is a mental decision. It's not a feeling. It's not a feeling. Feelings is a condition. That is a condition. Just because I'm mad at you shouldn't mean I don't love you. And if that's the case, then it's always it's a conditional love. It's not real because it can end at any moment. So yeah, my faith in God is very strong. That's my whole purpose. That's my whole purpose.
That's real, and I love it, man. Akeem, finally, you know how we do, man. What are 3 goals you got for yourself,
3 goals. Okay. First goal is to hopefully have a televised fight within the next 6 months. That would be my first goal. My second goal would be to get a role in a serious film on a serious network, on a serious streaming platform like Netflix or, you know what I'm saying, anything like that. Get a serious role. And then after that, I would say be able to connect with other public figures. So like big public figures, like I would love to be around them and be able to gain an audience like them and just gain more of an audience. Yeah, like other YouTubers, other social media influencers, stuff like that. Cause yeah, that would be great. But yeah,
man?
those are my 3 main goals. Get a fight, big film, and connect with more social media audiences.
Bruh, and I love it. It's all gonna happen, bruh. Hey, man, that was Under the Hood Sports. I'm Johnny. This is Akeem. Hey, keep a looking out for him because he is a future champion, man. Future champion. And if you don't know, you should know.
Hearts in the chat, guys. Hearts in the chat.
For sure. Big hearts.
I'm dead. All right.
We are out of here, bro.